And oh boy, we are back at it again. This guy's 1 year old with 1,000 games. Let's just hop right into it. Looks like we're getting a Sicilian defense here. There's really only two lines that I know very well in the Sicilian, so we're just gonna go straight for the open Sicilian. I think everything's going. I'm gonna unplug this other monitor. And so this isn't the best move. I think what you're actually supposed to do is develop a piece. But I do it like this because there's no harm. Ugh, I'm trying to unplug this thing. Oh boy. I think the setup for me is generally pretty straightforward. I'm gonna just go like this and castle, and then at some point scoot this bishop back. I think I've even got a video before where I play just that, because there's some situations where you get this queen move that pins the knight to the bishop and also to the king when you castle, and the queen on that square is just a huge annoyance. So the way that I kind of deal with that is I scoop my bishop up, scoop my other bishop up, I castle, and then I bring my bishop back so that it's not dreadfully pinned, if that makes sense. Like I come up, but then nothing's defending it. It's just chilling on the e3 square. Nobody guarding him. So I scoot him back to f2. And then on the f2 square, it's not so bad. This is actually always the weakest square in your position. So if I can get one of my minor pieces hanging out on that square, it's all good. So I think we're going to just go for it. And what's nice about this is it's interchangeable. So if I castle, my bishop's defended, but if I decide not to castle, I can still bring my bishop back and it's defended by the king that way. And so what I'm talking about is all of this. So I think I have the time to castle. Gonna castle. Most likely what we'll see is the knight come out here, and in that position I think I just take and I accept that he gets a really strong center. So I'm gonna just move this pawn. Okay, almost definitely we're going to see this, and I'm thinking I've had this position so many times, and a big trade happens on the c4 square, most likely, is what we're going to see. So preemptively, I'm scooting my bishop back, because regardless, I don't want to deal with all this pressure that's going to be happening here. And I've explained before, but this knight kind of just becomes a liability to me. So what we do is the first chance we get, we just trade it off. That's kind of a novelty for me. So now I'm in a completely new position. And I always make this move to put my rook on this open file. And if the queen ends up on this file, it's quite comfortable for me. What I'm a little bit afraid of is if we see this pawn push, I don't know if I am so confident in this. And also my queen tends to get a little bit trapped just on the home square. But I don't think scooting my queen up, and I don't want to burn my 20-second time advantage. So we're just going to make a really quiet move. We're going to scoot up. Most likely we see a push in the middle or a rook come to the file. If we do see the rook come to the file, I think I'll just match it. Seems reasonable enough. Okay. We're about... I don't think there was too many other options. And I know that's not a blunder. So I'm just going to play it quite quickly. We're then going to just get rid of that. Okay. This bishop is super happy chilling in the middle of the board. This fork becomes an option. I know my arrows are terrible. That fork becomes an option in the future. So I think what I'm going to do is just push this to reinforce my knight in the middle and then also give it a retreating square, because the other options were not so great. So I've got a general idea for an attacking square, and I've got a general idea for a retreating square. Unfortunately, this square on my side of the board, he can quite easily boom, boom. And essentially, I have to trade. Like, what am I going to do? Scoot over and then just continue to get pressured? So Most likely we will see this. That's probably the best plan for our opponent here. However, once I take, if he takes, that relieves the defense of this square. That enables this, and that's a fork. I can either, and it's quite easy to push this pawn and remove my defender of this square so his knight can get in, but it also seems reasonable to scoot over. This is kind of the crucial moment in the game, I'm not going to lie to you. I would like to play somewhat accurately. There's also the idea of just like, get my queen over here. Does that make any sense? Probably I just get attacked and have to scoot over, and then this becomes a weakness. So I'm going to bring my rook straight up to the middle. And I think so far in the game, we have both played incredibly accurately. In the end game, I've got a 3-on-2, and he's got a 4-on-3 of these 4 pawns here. And and both of the kings are on this side, so that doesn't even really count for too much. So if we can just liquidate everything, like if I can just trade off all of the pieces, I might be kind of somewhat happy with all of those exchanges. Okay, so it seems like this is the general idea. I can put here, but this allows this. My knight then jumps in. I think it would make sense. So we're just going to do that. Makes sense. He can play this, but it's not actually threatening to take because it is still pinned to the queen. So that would be this knight having just such easy access to this square and attacking my queen. I don't love it. I don't love it. Should I just question this knight right now? I sure can. But maybe I want to start with just coming back. Start with coming back. I don't like this queen. Once all these knights moves, I get checked, and I don't want to get checked on that square. I can even scoot over, and arguably that's a good idea, but one of us is going to have to kind of make a push. If you see, both of our knights are thinking about making the push. Here, here, here. I kind of like the idea. Because if this happens, if his knight goes here, I take, and I'm attacking the queen. So he's not going to have immediate time to defend that. So I think I need to do this. I really hope that's not a blunder. I feel like that was a little bit of a complicated move. What are his options? I feel like he has to go back, because if he comes forward and I take it with an attack on the queen from a defended bishop. I told you, the bishop just hanging out here on f2 is kind of my best friend. I'm not so sure that it's supposed to be here attacking stuff, at least not at this point in the game. I think it's supposed to be defending stuff. And this, all I need to be worried about is this rook on the other side of my queen. Now, how scary is that? Hard to say. Hard to say. I definitely don't like the looks of this. What did that accomplish? I can try and get fancy. Try and get fancy over here. Attack the queen, attack the bishop. Then I'm trading off my super happy and active knight. My knight is quite happy in the middle of the board. His knight is hanging out on the outskirts, Not doing a whole lot. This pawn is also only defended by my queen. So what if I get fancy and go here? We attack the queen. Yes. So we go here. You can't defend a lot of great ways. And this knight is kind of trapped, actually. So let's... Here. We take the queen. You take the queen, I take the rook. We're going to just... Oh, or like, is this better? We're going to just do it. We attack the queen. If this happens, I take. I can also take with check. Okay, so the whole purpose of doing that was to get the bishop for the knight. Now, what I think I want to do is do something with my queen. Do something with the queen. Continuing to keep an eye on this pawn over here. This bishop is doing a great job defending. This now becomes a great move. If I can, like, boom, boom, do something with my queen and get rid of this. Okay, so now you've got two things attacking this. I mean, I can defend like this. Then you get involved. I scoot over, you take. I take. Oh boy. We push. What happens then? We push. Take. Rook gets involved. Don't love it. I don't want to lose a pawn over nothing. I feel like that hangs onto it, but I don't want to just scoot back. Then you take with the rook. What if I defend? You scoot here. I scoot over. You take. I take. This is still hanging. Is there really no good way to defend this? What a bummer. Now, which one is better with my 3 minutes on the clock? I'm going to just play this first. Defends it for a brief moment. Pretty sure he can just push. Pretty sure he can just push. And it's not great for me. It would be great to play something. This also allows this push. Oh boy, I feel like I'm falling apart a little bit. Slightly on time and the position. Like, I think I'm okay. Actually, this kind of works because this now defends that. Hardly defending. Hardly defended. Okay. Let's just get rid of one thing. This is definitely hanging, but not immediately. Okay, so he takes. This is hanging because I can't take back. So I think what we're going to do here... I'm not sure which one was better. Not sure what was better. I'm definitely getting pressured. This is not an easy or fun to play position. This knight is also like in the worst spot, but it just happens to be attacking my weakness over here. Now, fortunately for me, I do have this move. Maybe I want to scoot this rook over to defend this pawn. It's completely even. But if I can somehow get my pieces a little bit more active than his, I would be so happy. And this attacks the queen. Depending on where the queen goes, I have ideas of coming over and this, at least getting a weakness out of him. Let's not spend a million years. We're just going to push over here. Push, take, 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 take. I think I need to start guarding this pawn, unfortunately. Attack the queen. And if I scoot my... I'm worried about this pawn push. What if I just get crazy over here? Attack the queen. Probably he comes back here, but then the queen is kind of not doing a whole heckin' lot, and I like that. Okay. Coming over here. Might even scoot my king up to solidify this. If we see this, I'm just going to defend it like that. But now I've got a couple things touching on this. Ugh. If I take, and he takes my queen. Not fun. Not fun. What do I do? And I can't move this. Oh my god. Definitely just fell apart a little bit right there. Because he's just going to get my rook. Not convinced. I don't think there's anything I can really do to save this. Take, 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 and then I just have a rook and a bishop. We're doing it. We're doing it. If I calculated that right, he's going to get here. I get his rook. He gets my rook. I get his rook. And then I have a bishop. Unless there's something ridiculous that I'm not seeing. This is scary. We're just going to scoot back. Not sure what to do here. What am I doing? I just opened up my king. I have to take. Oh, dear Lord. Not good. We're scooting around. Okay. This is conveniently defending these, but this is not good. Hanging that pawn was the worst move I could have possibly made. And I'm not incredibly confident that there's a way for me to really flag this dude. Because he just gets out of it with check. I'm definitely going to do this. It gives me ideas. Check. Come back. Ideas of check here, check. I'm falling apart with 17 seconds. I don't think there's really too much that I can even do. Okay. We're hanging on to the piece. Probably we see a check and I come over. We're just going to scoot up. Check. Oh my god. This gives me a losing endgame. You can just take. I'm here. He can just push this pawn. However, if he doesn't, I can push and take that idea away. Okay, we're going to take. Coming in. Nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. Can we flag this young man? think I'm going to have to come this way. I might be able to flag him with 20 seconds. All I got to do is be a faster player than him. 17 seconds to 7 seconds. Let's just pre-move this. Okay. Okay. Four seconds? Not good. Not good. Oh my goodness. Oh, I got him. Oh, I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. That's not how you want to win a game of chess. He could have. Let's just look at this analytically. What he should have done is try and take this pawn, because this side of the board is completely stuck. So I can't take this pawn, or this pawn will come. So what he probably should have done is try to get his king active and take this pawn. And like, yes, I can come in and get this, but that takes so many moves. So many moves it would take for that to actually work. So probably if I was him, I would have just tried to figure out a way to get his king in to take this pawn. So let's see what the computer says. But in the middle game, I just fell apart, and unfortunately I was able to make some pre-moves, and I'm not even proud of it. And here, winning. Dead winning. I saw it, because then there's no getting out of it. It's pinned to the king. But I saw this check and I wanted to make it. Oh, it's rough. And then he just pushed the pawn. And then I pinned, and then he took, and then I took, and then he took, and then I got in. And he could have just defended straight up. And I don't think that he would have ended up with just one pawn, one passed pawn. But that's strong enough with just a king, because ultimately I'd be forced to move this pawn or get out of the way and he promotes. So let's check this with the computer. I'm talking a bunch right now, like I know what I'm talking about. I just lost the game, so obviously I don't know that much. And here we are in the analysis, and I'm thinking for this one, might have to go into it with a little more depth than I normally do in the past. I've got 8 inaccuracies and 5 blunders, but at least I didn't make any mistakes. With 74% accurate, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, and the graph tells a tale of I was struggling for my life. This was pinning the queen. I had an opportunity to pin the queen, and I saw it too late, because I realized at some point I got to just play quick. And then in the middle game, I had all these opportunities. I was winning, and then I just threw it away with one terrible move. So I went from winning to crash. And I had one chance to get it back, and then ultimately I flagged him when we both had less than a second, which is not anything to be proud of. He had 4 blunders and 4 inaccuracies. So it looks like I just played a relatively inaccurate game and flagged him in the end. So let's see exactly where I went astray and what I missed. So this opening, I know it pretty well. Basically just memorize these moves. Boom, boom, boom. And then, oh, it is the best move. I knew that throwing in this check, but I always just try and play the same setup no matter what they play. Whether they play this pawn or this bishop, I bring the knight out. That way you end up with the same structure regardless of what they play. And if you see, this is one of the best moves. He plays it. And then I kind of take my opponent out of book at some point. I'm lying. One of the best moves, defend. Get this bishop going. Get this bishop here, and if you can see, I'm playing basically top computer lines. Castle, one of the top computer lines. So this is all theory, and we're doing quite well. I scoot the bishop back, which is not good from the computer standpoint, but from my standpoint, it gets out of a lot of complications where this pinned knight becomes a horror. And now if you let the computer think long enough, it's saying, okay, all right, that's a good idea. I agree, computer. Then this, I never see this move. I always see here, and we trade. And so I think I mentioned in the video, this is more or less a new position for me, because this knight has a different future than this knight. I know those weren't the right squares. Here, this knight has a future. Here, neither of our knights have a future, because I just get rid of it. So We scoot the queen up. One of the best computer moves. Pawn in the center. I didn't even think about this for any time at all. Okay, that's a lie. I spent 10 seconds. But take, 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 take. And then here I pushed this pawn, which isn't good for me, but it's still hovering around equality. This fork became scary, and I figured I just needed to move one of these major pieces because this defense is feeble because he can just attack it. I choose this option. I'm slightly losing. What did I do? One of the best computer lines, so we're still playing quite well. We go back because I realized I didn't like this. Best computer move. I knew that it was complicated, but I made it, and it forces his knight to go to the side. Now, it's saying that I can sacrifice? Oh, what? What am I missing here? Oh. Okay, so I could have grabbed a pawn with this same idea because the queen wouldn't have actually been able to take back this. So it's defended by the pawn, but first the queen is being attacked. So now that I'm seeing this, I just get out of there. Okay, so I decided to be fancy. We go on this side of the board. It says it's an inaccuracy because I could have grabbed a pawn. Okay. We grab the bishop with check. And here I was like, okay, well, at least I got something for that knight. You know, I've got the bishop pair. So I was quite comfortable here, but his pieces are a little bit more active than mine, and he's got this pin. So I get out of that pin. He scoots over. He's pressuring this. Best move, defend it here. And I was saying that he had this move, but he didn't play it. Now what were my options? I bring the rook up and it says it's bad, but we're still basically equal. I scoot over. This defends this pawn push. I had this pawn push to take that away. Okay, now I see. I traded, and that throws away my advantage because he could have taken, and this is no longer defended. That bishop was defending this, so I would have had to think of something to do and ended up with a position where I'm just losing. Hard to see, and my bishop is hanging at the end of that. Okay, it doesn't get that complicated. This bishop is defending this rook, so he can just sacrifice it. So I did this trade, but this is still in the situation. This needs to be defended twice. So I defend it, and it's equal again. And I went for this, still equal, and I missed. What on earth? Take. And you have to do something because it's back rank checkmate. So if you push, but then I just get involved. And I could even like trade the queens. I can cut this off so the queen's not defending it. And I'm winning. You can't take because this is a threat. Oh, dear Lord. What else did I get? Okay, so I can take. If you take back, I take with check, and quite simply, this rook was only defended by that pawn. Guess I could have seen that. That's not too complicated. Take with check, get the rook. This queen was defending this rook. Hard to see, but we both miss it. So now it's equal. We're still hanging around equality. And this. Not a lot I can do. I realized here that I was totally screwed. There's only a couple things that I can do, and I decided to bail out into an endgame where I am officially losing, but we both have 1 minute and 2 minutes. Take. And I'm just dead lost, but it's sort of equal. It's at least holdable. So this is the option that I chose. Not beautiful, but I realized, I got a rook and a bishop for the queen. It's not good, but it's not terrible. Then right here, I was just trying to play fast. I've got 30 seconds, and I realized once you cross the threshold of maybe less than 30 seconds, you need to play fast, not accurate. You need to switch gears. Just don't get checkmated. So obviously I was supposed to do something about this so my pawns stay defended, and I completely don't. It shreds my defense. My king is naked. it's not looking good. I do this, so this is at least defended, and when I scoop my king over, I'm touching everything, and I'm going to scoop my pawn up and just hold until all the pawns come. Then I'm totally smoked. But it's a -5 position. Nothing I can do. I just try and consolidate my pieces. I push my pawns so that my rook is defending stuff. And ultimately, what he can do here is just start pushing pawns. And there's not a lot that I can do. We scoop back for no reason. I hit him with a check. He's got 1 minute. Come back to defend the bishop, or defend the rook. We give him a queen check. He responds in turn with a check. I scoot over. And I'm just doing the shuffle. And this was the chance where I completely missed it. But I got 14 seconds and he's got a minute. And if I would have played this, I'm very confident that I would have converted this and actually won the game. Didn't see it. And unfortunately, like I was saying, this is still losing. He can just take. I go here, but he can just defend. And then I'm in a situation where nothing's happening over here. I can go here, but he just runs. That's not going to work. So I can't actually do anything. And I can't take this or this goes. And so he needed to see that with 53 seconds, and he didn't. And he gave me this pawn. And this gives me chances because now he needs to promote this pawn because this pawn is going to trade for this one at some point. And you got to make a lot more moves with a little bit more precision. He could have literally just this, and this would have held. This entire side of the board would have held. Even if I push forward and I scoot past, I don't know. I don't feel good about it. 10 seconds against 53. How did he screw this up? I get involved and I just start making pre-moves with 8 seconds. And once he had 20 seconds, I realized I have chances of flagging this dude. Oof. And then I sacrifice the pawn because it's kind of a forcing-ish move. I mean, I guess you could just push, but then I'd push at some point. 6 seconds against 4 seconds. And then right here, 2 seconds, 1 second against 3 seconds and 2 seconds. I'm not sure what I would have done in his shoes. And I just make a run for it. And he flags right here. I had 0.3. 0.3. Oof. And how he choked that from this position with 53 seconds on the clock. Don't ask me. But that was exhilarating. There was just some heavy tactics here in the middle. That's really what it was. I defended a terrible position with time. I didn't even defend it well. I just defended it with time. And all of this was so complicated. We're doing good. And it was really just this sequence here. I missed this sacrifice. Now that I'm seeing it, it threatens mate in 1. You basically have to take. But then I get in with check, and I get your rook. And then I got a pawn for the rook, and it's looking pretty good for me. Because all of a sudden, this bishop is doing wonders, and my queen is active. Missed it. And his main thing, he didn't miss this. And going into this endgame, he could have converted this with 2 minutes on the clock. I think probably our friend over here, I don't think you're going to be able to actually see this. He only plays rapid. Only rapid. And so I guess there's something to be said for playing a little bit of bullet and a little bit of blitz, because in rapid, once you get below 30 seconds each, it's not about checkmating your opponent. It's about flagging and not getting checkmated. So something that I'll frequently do is in bullet is just sacrifice pieces, just moves that are forcing where I know that they have to waste time on it. You know, when we've got less than 5 seconds each, it's like you don't have to worry about getting checkmated. So sometimes I'll even like sacrifice the rook, sacrifice the queen with check, and they have to take it, and then I just make some pre-moves. And as long as they're not checks, you're good to go. So that was probably pretty loud. Thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.